Well, hello, welcome back, or welcome for the first time. This is a chance for me to share some of the stories that have followed me around from either speaking at churches or at youth groups, classrooms, schools, or summer camps, or just passing stories along with friends. If you enjoy what you see, like, subscribe, and share. This particular story is one that I had to get a couple of weeks distance from the real Easter because this is about an Easter pageant, and it's a composite of some real life events and some sermon stories from my colleagues and coworkers, and also a story that I had heard at the National Storytelling Convention, or conference I mean, in Jonesboro, Tennessee, in the young age of 1995. So here we go. This is the first Golgotha Baptist Church Easter pageant. Years ago, when schools and churches and community were all joined together in Middle America, there was a tradition that the local Catholic school of a very small town that will be unnamed in the great state of Iowa, this Catholic school would oftentimes work with the local Baptist church, First Golgotha Baptist Church. And every year, and this had been a long tradition, probably 8, 12 years prior to this event, they would invite the Baptist church to do their Easter Passion play. It was a fantastic thing that they would oftentimes do within their church. They would take over the whole tiny little A-frame building. They would sing hymns in between dramatic moments leading up to the crucifixion of Christ, the great Silent Saturday, and then, of course, ending with a rousing Easter Sunday, where Jesus Christ was resurrected, defeating death and sin and everything awful. And it was fantastic. This year, though, they decided to do something different, not only to do the pageant, but to perform it at the Catholic school. It was the day before Good Friday, Maundy, Thursday, the last day of school. And the students were gathered for half day. And in the morning, Mr. Roberts, the 8th grade English teacher, instructed his kids that this was going to be a very special day. For there was a special assembly where they were going to be doing the story of Christ. Mr. Roberts, a cradle Catholic, loved this. It was a fusion of all the lessons that they had gone through, all of the amazing things that they had learned leading up to this moment. And now, in the flesh, Mr. Roberts could have his children see this. Meanwhile, in the school cafeteria, the actors and actresses, the choir, the music pastor, the senior pastor were all getting ready. And in came the star, a young man who had recently converted to Christianity. He was a construction worker. His foreman brought him to church, and after several months, he had surrendered himself to the thinking of Christianity and the ideology, therefore. This young man was perfect. 33, light brown hair, blue eyes, pale skin, Jesus! So this young man was playing Jesus. And right as they were setting up and the cross was front and center of the stage, he went over to the music pastor and says, dress rehearsal was a bit of a problem. Was the cross fixed? What do you mean, the music pastor asked. Well, I was on that thing, and it was swaying. It's not built well. I know wood. I'm in construction, and I would not put my weight on that thing. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. No, it's not fine, and it needs to be taken care of. Look, we're going to do this, and you'll be fine. I'm not getting hurt playing Jesus. I'm not getting hurt getting on that cross. Just could you get on the cross, please? We got kids coming any minute. The man playing Jesus then pushed the music pastor. I'm not getting on the cross. Someone could get hurt. That thing is a death trap. The music pastor pushed the actor playing Jesus. And the actor playing Jesus said, don't do that. You're getting on that cross. We're going to have a show. We're going to have a story. I am not. And the music pastor, during the stress of Holy Week, did something he had never done before. And since this is an old story, he had never done since. This is the only time the music pastor pulled back and swung, striking Jesus. This isn't the first scrap the actor had ever gotten into, but he wasn't expecting this. And so he fell backwards, and when he hit his head on the floor, he was wearing the crown of thorns, plastic, but they did cut him. And as we all know with head wounds, for anyone who's a parent, they bleed incredibly. And so gushing blood came out this man as he rose to his feet, looked over at the music pastor, and started to chase him. The music pastor, fearing for his life, started running down the hallways of this K through 8 school. And as he's running, Jesus is gaining on him. And Jesus is not only more and more furious and more angry, he's more bloody. And as he runs past, the students of Mr. Roberts' 8th grade English class look over. And one of the kids in the back mentioned, I think it's my music pastor. And I think he's being chased by Jesus. Mr. Roberts looked and gave one look at the actor dressed in Jesus, bleeding from his head, and began to start sputtering Latin out of control. As he started sputtering, the only words the kids picked up was something they had studied earlier, stigmata, stigmata, stigmata. But then he muttered other things and great prayers and was becoming unraveled. He then very quickly closed his eyes and found the strength to carry on and open up and says, I don't know what we just saw, but let's continue with our lesson. And he did so. The music pastor ran out. Jesus stopped giving him chase, turned on his heels and went the other direction, and found himself in a near corn patch near the school to cool off and to just get this awful cross behind him. The music pastor also collected himself, came back, and rather than hide any facts or make it look like he was the victim of this, he told all of his actors and singers and choir members and musicians, I blew it. In a moment of weakness, I got mad and I punched Jesus. I'm sorry. We don't have him. We need someone to play Jesus. And a milk-white, bony hand of a man raised in the far back of the crowd. The music pastor looked at it and looked around and says, we just need anyone at all who could play Jesus. And the hand went higher and higher and higher. He just continued not to look at it and just, we just need someone, please. Bail me out. I was weak. I'm sorry. I blew it all. Jeremy. The hand raised high. Jeremy, you can't play Jesus. I'm playing a part, and I could do the second part too. I could do both parts. Jeremy, you can't do this. I can do it. You can't. You're playing Judas. I can do both. I can play Jesus and Judas together. It'll work. It'll be fine. No, Jeremy, you can't do this. You can't play two characters. And without anyone else volunteering, Jeremy played two characters. He would oftentimes jump out of scene and in scene, and would have a robe made out of purple that would come out, and then he would jump back, and he would come back wearing cotton green, lime green shorts with a red bathrobe to be Judas. It was tricky because there was no backstage in the cafeteria at all. There was no way for him to bounce in and out. Instead, it was just Jeremy playing Judas and Jesus, and it was confusing, especially at the crucifixion. When Jeremy had the crown of thorns and the green shorts, and as he was swaying, he was about 110 pounds sopping wet. So there was no problems of the cross giving way. Anyway, he sighed. He took the balm of wine and vinegar and expired. And Mr. Roberts was almost welling up with tears. This was what made being a teacher worth it. The lessons were coming alive. It was beautiful. It was amazing. He looked over and saw an 8th grade boy, eyes wide as saucers, lip trembling, and he was overwhelmed with emotions. And Mr. Roberts says, if you want to talk later, I can explain what is going on here theologically. And the boy looked up at Mr. Roberts and said, he's tricked them all. What do you mean? He's lied. He's tricked them all. Judas took Jesus' spot. They're killing the wrong man. He needs to be stopped. This is worse than the Bible. No, it's an actor who plays Jesus and Judas. I know it's confusing, but that's really Jesus up there. No, it isn't. No. He then continued to talk with him, and the conversation was so full and so deep that the boy missed the resurrection. But he wouldn't have understood it anyway, because why would Judas be resurrected? Nonetheless, the musical ended. Everyone left. The kids went back to their school, the classes. Lunch was in 10 minutes. And the actor playing Jesus entered in the stage to find the music pastor. He looked down and says, yeah, don't push me again. Music pastor said, I am so sorry. It was my fault. I am so sorry. And had he said anything else but that, there might have been another fight. But that apology softened the actor. It's all right. I'd be a lousy Jesus if I didn't forgive you. True, he said. And I appreciate that you're rising up to the role. The actor laughed and said, who'd have thought this would have been so hard playing Jesus? Yeah. I'm sorry, the music pastor said. I got so caught up in the play and the activity and the busyness that I forgot what this was all about. And I'm sorry for punching you. The actor says, I'm sorry for chasing you and trying to murder you in the Catholic school. Yeah. I guess we did kind of bite off more than we could chew. Yeah. Next year. Thank you.